Welcome to the Recruiting Scoop on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook. That's Coach Dub. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like that video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll be bringing it all week, all throughout spring practice, all throughout recruiting season. Of course, we're bringing it over at InsideTexas.com. So go use that first link in our description. Use that QR code at the top left of the screen. Sign up for 50% off the annual subscription price. We got recruiting. We got team intel. We've got baseball and basketball coverage. We've got everything you need if you're a Texas fan. So come check us out over at Inside Texas. And today, Charlie, we get to talk about some of the guys who have either made their way or are on campus today or making their way this weekend. Spring football, as we talk about a lot, it's a chance for all these guys to get a good glimpse of what it's like to be coached as a Texas football player. They're watching, not just the glitz and glam and the four seasons and stuff like that. They get to see what life is like daily. And it's a really important time, not only to see that, but also to build a foundation to get these guys back on campus later in June.
Yeah, I love this because, coaches can sell you a dream. They can tell you everything, right? But when they're on the field, they can't fake it. They're coaching their guys up hard, and you get a real life up and close personal of actually how they coach, how they teach, how they've been developed, what the first string looks like, what the fourth string guy looks like. Are they being coached the same, right? And kind of see where you may fit in and how they may coach you, or, how they may play you or use you when you get there on offense or defense. So I think these are really, really valuable moments for the Texas staff to kind of sell themselves by just doing their everyday job. And I think this is a true picture that you always get versus, visits where they're all nice, showing you the facilities and everything else. Like, this is what you want to see if you're a player. And so Texas has done a great job over the past few years doing this. I know a lot of kids have talked about it. They enjoyed the visit, seeing spring practice and stuff like that. So this is a huge moment. And so you can kind of gain some momentum in these recruitments by having kids on during the spring. So I absolutely love it.
One of the guys that is on campus as we speak right now, as I pull his huddle up, that is Jimmy Callis from Pittsburgh. I believe it's Central Catholic. He's an offensive tackle prospect in the current Rivals ranking, Rivals industry ranking, number 235 overall prospect, number 8 player in Pennsylvania. And, we saw him pop into Texas a couple times. I believe this is his third visit. We also saw him put Texas in his top group. I forget what it was specifically, along with some other like Big Ten teams. Penn State, obviously, being the in-state big-time school. Ohio State, I think Notre Dame may have been in there as well. And Texas was in there. And so for Texas to get him back on campus again, to be continue to be a factor in his recruitment, that's a big deal for the progress the Longhorns are making in this recruitment, looking for more tackles in the 2027 class.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think people understand the relationships that Cal Flood has in Northeast. Like, being a coach that for Rutgers in New Jersey, like, he has relationships and ties to those guys up there. But I don't mind giving me a big offensive lineman for the Northeast. Somebody like Pittsburgh, they're a tough kid. They like to get it out the mud. They're going to fight you and claw for four quarters. And especially when it gets cold, they got to run the ball. So you're used to being physical. So I like the fact that we're looking at a kid from up north, and the fact that he's giving us a look. Because usually these kids, you see them at your Notre Dames, your Ohio States, and other places. Now Indiana probably, but the fact that he's coming back on campus at Texas says a lot. It shows that we have a great relationship with him, and I like him. I like his size. I mean, 6'6", 285. He can move well. He's physical. He wants to finish blocks each and every time. And we need a little bit of that. And so I know Connor may love this. He's not a tight end, Connor, but he does have that Northeast, type of vibe where he just wants to maul people, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I think, we have it up on YouTube, his huddle film. You can see a lot of good stuff, but you can see where there's room for him to become a little bit better. Like, I'm not like the best at nitpicking, but I can also tell like what's, good and what's great. Right, and he's got a foundation for good at just about everything at 6'6", 285, and you can see where he can make some progress and become great as well.
Yeah, definitely. He may play tackle. He could play guard. Like, he's a guy, like, he can be combo depending on what he grows into, how big he gets. He can stay at tackle, or he could be a guard. And just because he's 6'6" doesn't mean he has to play, tackle. At the same time, you want to see how long his arms are and things like that. But he's a guy you probably can be versatile with and cross train and learn multiple positions. So, it's a good fit. You want to get as many offensive linemen as possible, if you ask me. And if they got that kind of attitude, the play's over. But he's finishing some poor kid. I love it.
It's always funny when you see, it's like, why are you keeping a penalized play on your huddle? It's like, that's usually for a reason. We know that Texas is after him, hosting him. I think he's got an official visit scheduled for later in June. Obviously, they're after Ismail Kamara, who could be the best prospect in state. After Brian Swanson up in DFW, still recruiting Kennedy Brown, but this is a position that Texas needs to add more guys to. They need more true tackles, and that's something that we're hoping for the Longhorns' sake. They get a few more guys like Callis, maybe to set the floor of the class. We'll keep going. Got to talk a little bit about an out-of-state running back, Will Carroll. I saw you ask this, or W. Carroll. Is Sark recruiting a big, fast back, 220 pounds plus? Man, everybody in the country is looking for a 220-pound back that is also fast. But Noah Roberts, currently listed at 6'1", 190 out of Basha High School in Chandler, Arizona. This is the one that Eric Merlin talked to. Not only is he currently on campus, he's planning to stay throughout the weekend to get a little taste of the 40 acres. We know that, and we know that Texas is after some in-state guys like Landon Williams-Callis. We even got another in-state running back to talk about in a little bit. But Texas has made good progress here, and to host him for a multi-day visit, great sign here in the spring.
Yeah, look, I guess we're looking to strike gold again out of Arizona. I guess it worked for Bijan. We didn't get to see much.
We got one game of Christian Clark.
Yeah, one game of Christian Clark, right? But hey, look, this is a small, compact guy. I mean, well, he's listed at 6'1", but you can tell he's kind of yoked up a little bit, but he has some long speed. He can run through tackles, catch out the backfield. Like, this is a complete back. I know everybody wants to say, well, what's the competition like in Arizona? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're good, you make everybody else around you look like they're not good. And that's what he does. He runs by everybody. It's like he can catch, like I said, catch the ball at the backfield. You can use this kid in multiple ways. And so if you're looking to take two backs, like, this is a guy that fit, but I think he's an every down back at the next level, man. He's a 6'1", 190. I like him. He's patient. Doesn't overrun his blocks. You see, he set it up there on counter. He didn't just take off. He let the kind of play develop in front of him. And then he saw a crease and he hit it. Like, what else can you ask for? There he is catching the ball at the backfield. It looks like Bijan with his sophomore year versus Kansas State kind of spread him out and he went down the seam, like that exact type of play. And so I'm not sure if he wears number 5, but man, he looks similar just a little bit. Not as shifty, but he can put his foot in the ground and get north and south quickly.
Yeah, and you know, we hear Oregon a lot with these recruiting battles with running backs, and that speaks to Rashad Samples and to that offense, what they've been able to do up in Eugene. Oregon, a team that Texas is contending with, looking through his rivals profile, looks like a bunch of different schools, obviously Arizona State, Michigan, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Texas. But to get him on campus here for these next couple of days, really big as far as what Texas is trying to do in getting another great running back into the class. Before we keep going, got to show some love to our sponsor, that is Andre the Lawyer.
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results: Andre the Lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the Lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
Got to move over. We'll move into Texas. We'll move to the defensive side of the ball real fast. Got to talk about Braden Booth. He's from South San High School over in San Antonio. And this is a player who not only is recently picked up his offer from the Longhorns, but really interested in Texas and did a lot of great things at the Rivals camp as well.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. I actually wrote about him like early February of guys that Texas should like evaluate and offer. He had his huddle up at the time I saw it, man. You saw a big explosive kid who can just rush off the edge. He's big, he's raw. He has a long frame of 6'5", 215, but he's going to grow into that body. I'm telling you, he runs on a 4x2 and 4x100 relay team in high school too. So people around him say, he could probably run 10-6, 10-7, and that's impressive at a size like that. Just started playing defensive end too. He was a receiver. Everybody wants to grow up and be a receiver and get all the shine, but he bought into playing defensive end, edge, and I think this is a guy that has a ton of room to grow, but man, he has an exceptional get off with the long arms. He really gets after it.
And this is someone who, South San Antonio, not a big producer of talent these days. As we find with a lot of San Antonio prospects, they like being not too far from their family. This is another case where oddly enough, we could see Texas and UTSA get into a little bit of a recruiting battle.
Yeah, that's funny to say UTSA and Texas battle for recruits, but I mean, I'm sure Jeff Trail and his staff do a great job. But yeah, most guys from San Antonio, most time they want to stay close to home. I know this is the case in Booth's recruitment. I know his family love to stay close to home. And then, like you said, outside of UTSA, Texas is the next closest school. And so I think Texas sits in a good spot early on. And them getting the offer Wednesday at practice and coming back this weekend says a lot. And so all signs seem to be pointing in the right direction in this one. But like I said, I love his game. I love this kid and what he can be because he has the size and tools to do it.
We'll get to a couple of questions before we get out of here. James Oliver said, a big and fast back. What's wrong with Jet Walker? I don't think anybody said anything's wrong with Jet Walker, but he's in the 2026 class. So you got to add a guy in the 2027 class. You got to add a guy in the 2028 class. Like, you got to keep adding all these different guys. Just because you have one guy with that skill set doesn't mean you don't want to add another. Then Papa Dot, you ask, you clarified down the road, Jameer Brown, I think you're talking about, top wide receiver in the country. Why haven't they rolled out the red carpet? They did bring in Jameer Brown last year for an unofficial visit. He came through while still an Ohio State commit. He's been committed to Ohio State since November of 2023. He came through with this 7-on-7 team. It's also a case where he's from Wayne, Ohio. And he's committed to Ohio State. And I know that Zach Smith, golly, that's a bad man, who am I thinking of? Went to South Florida, the wide receivers coach.
It's so easy. Like
Brian Hartline.
Hartline, yeah.
Hartline went down to South Florida, but I don't think it was lack of effort on Jameer Brown. I think they got him into campus. And I know Jameer Brown's also kind of been at the forefront of some NIL, I don't want to say issues, but just situations in Ohio about guys trying to get guys in high school in Ohio trying to get NIL. I think he's in the middle of that, trying to find that for other Ohio student athletes in the high school ranks. But I mean, hey, Ohio State has a really good thing to sell to wide receivers. If this was somebody from, like, I don't know, Kentucky, well, even that's close to Ohio State. If this was someone from like Arizona, I'd say, well, yeah, I could see why Texas should get a little bit more involved on this one. But they've got Easton Royal in the class. They've got some great picks or great options, and guys like Julian Caldwell, who is just on campus, Alvin Mosley, Trey
Moore, Bryson Thrower. Like, there's so many kids out in this class.
Yeah, I know. And again, I know you do shoot for the moon in basically everything you have in recruiting, but Easton Royal is going to take up, some of your resources, and you got to fight to keep him. You want to keep the guys that you have in addition to trying to get some of the other guys. So they did bring him to campus, but I haven't heard him much ever since then. And I think that kind of tells you what's going on there. Last, but certainly not least, another running back to talk about, and he's probably not on that big, fast 6'1", 220 train, but he's still a really talented running back. That is Lathan Wisington out of Waco Midway. We've talked a good amount about him, and Texas has to feel better and better about Wisington just because, hey, he's like all these different guys back on campus here, either was on campus during the past week or is here again today. And, just another opportunity for Jabbar Jaloop to get in front of him and talk to him.
Yeah, Wisington is a home run threat. I think he ran a 10.5 and 100. Was at the Dallas Under Armour camp. He competed and then went to Houston and competed the very next weekend. All while still trying to compete in track. So he's a competitor. But this is your home run back, a home run threat type of running back that you pair him with somebody else. As you see, he's special in the return game too. Kind of does it all for Waco Midway. But you got a recent picture of him at his Florida visit next to Jaden Baugh. He wasn't that far off size-wise, to be honest with you. So he's bigger than maybe most people think. But, man, just to see this kid, I like it. And look, not far from home, being in Waco. We've had successful Waco kids, not Midway specifically, but Waco kids coming to Texas and, being ballers. And so, I mean, look, I like Wisington a lot. I like that fact that he's a guy that you can get the ball and maybe more like your Hollywood Smothers type of running back. Like, he can find a crease and go to the house, right? You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to worry about a guy you're trying to manufacture 10-play drives. When you got a guy like this, you can get a ball to him and he hits a crease and goes scores some 60 out. And so, as you see, he's not that small. He can run through tackles in tight spaces there, and you hit it. Got a bigger lower body than most people think too. So, I mean, I like the kid a lot. Like I say, he's not far from home, and so hopefully, the signs continue to trend towards Texas for Wizington.
Yeah, and we bring up whoever we just talked about. You bring up Wizington, you bring up Noah Roberts, and we also have to talk about the fact that they just had Landon Williams-Callis back on campus earlier this week. So Jabbar Jalouk is making a good amount of progress in all the different running backs he's talking to, and we'll see. These visits, like I said earlier, this is where things coalesce to where, are you going to be visiting here later in the spring and summer? Or are we going to see you down the road for a game? Or is this a spot where you're saying, you know what, I appreciate you recruiting me, but I'm going to take my focus elsewhere? This is that time of year where they figure it out. Parents and kids go on spring break trips. They go on those official visit trips, and then it's time to figure out what to do. I'll tell you what, you don't need to figure out what to do. You need to go to Inside Texas. Just make that decision right now. Use that first link in our description. Use that QR code there at the top left of the screen. Sign up for 50% off the annual price. Get all the recruiting intel. Justin had stuff on recruiting. Charlie and Eric had a lot of great team notes from today. So come check that out over on Inside Texas. Can't wait to see everybody over there. So Charlie, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. See you next time on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com.